day is beautiful.
Well, we talked about it before the game. There is no better time of year to be here playing football than fall in Colorado, and we're just about ready to get this thing underway. And highly anticipated, Thunderwolves going to receive. They have Marcus Turner and Jesse Lewis back deep to receive the kick. From Travis Adder. He'll be kicking off for the Eagles. Eagles in their burgundy red uniforms, the white trim. Red, white, and blue for CSU Pueblo. And here we go. Good kick. Sends him back to the goal line. That's Turner. Turner straight upfield, and he is upended short of the 20. Down at the 17-yard line, and that's where the Thunderwolves will begin an offense. Let's check out the offensive lineup for CSU Pueblo.
Well, they're led there by Weeks there on the right side, tackle number 71. And the backs and receivers, Sean Gavin, freshman, making his first start.
17 years old. That's remarkable. We'll see how he fares here. Maybe a wrinkle or two we see from head coach John Wriston in his first year leading the Thunderwolves, obviously a brand new program. And Gavin is under center to begin an offense, and we've got, looks like, movement up front to begin the game.
Looks like Shadron was going to blitz, and I believe they drew CSU Pueblo into a false start, yeah.
Let's check out the defensive side of the field if we can for Shadron, the two-time defending RMAC champions.
Yeah, Bailey is a preseason All-American with the defensive line, or the linebackers. And Odell is they're led on the defensive front by number 96, Odell.
Now they've got two players on this Shadron team that were voted preseason players of the year, the quarterback Joe McLean and defensively linebacker Austin Bailey. So here we go, and a pass play that's going to be caught over the 20-yard line by Demetrius Gilmore, 5'10" running back out of Colorado Springs and Harrison High School.
That's a big confidence boost for the quarterback there, Dan. You always like to throw your first pass and have it complete.
Well, Sean Gavin, he's 6'5", 210 pounds, a freshman quarterback out of Canyon Country, California. Leading the way here now in a shotgun formation. And Gavin's going to get it out over the 25 to the 27-yard line. And make it Trevor Hyatt got the ball there on second down. We'll set up a third down for the Thunderwolves here. Third and short. Well, we talked about some of the keys for CSU Pueblo before the game with the coaches. So what do we have for
Coach Wriston simply said they got to manage the game on offense. They want to drive the ball. They don't want to give up field position.
Third down and short. And Gavin back to throw. And the pass is incomplete. In and out of the hands of Fletcher Sargent, the 6-foot fullback out of Fountain, Colorado. And that'll bring up a fourth down. Flags thrown on the play.
And that was one of the things Coach Wriston wanted to, they felt the key was to avoid mistakes. And now they have a hold. Of course, it's going to be declined. It's going to bring about fourth down anyway. Coach Wriston also said that they felt like they needed to play great defense and make some big plays on special teams. He felt like they needed to make Chadron State drive the length of the field, does not want to give them field position.
Kyle Major is the punter, and he is the RMAC Special Teams Player of the Week. And he's going to run with it. Here he comes, and appears to have the first down. Boy, flags are thrown. Might be a late hit.
Boy, do I like the call there by Coach Wriston on that. You talk about having some guts. you're going for a 4th and 1 on your 27-yard line, and you got to hand it to him. What a great play.
Now
Personal foul on the defense. 15 yards, first down.
that's a big one.
Yes, it is.
We'll see what CSU Pueblo can do with it here.
Well, you know, many times coaches go into a team against, like they're going against Shatter in this case, and they play to avoid losing. And I like Wriston's philosophy. You go out to play to win. Take chances if you have to. Take some risks.
Two receivers to the left, and now in motion is Brandon Gray. Gavin over the middle, pass is caught, and that's going to be another first down. That's a Daquan Cartwright who received the pass. He's out of South High School here in Pueblo, and that's going to be close enough to measure. Now let's see here.
Local product there. Shatter brought blitz at that time, and the CSU Pueblo picked up the blitz.
The two both went to South High School. John Cartwright, the tight end, a transfer from your neck of the woods, Adams State. So first and 10, setting up at the Chadron 42-yard line, and the give is fumbled. Brandon Gray got the handoff, and CSU Pueblo able to cover. I believe he lost the handle on that ball. We'll check it out again. So that'll be a loss on the play, loss of 1, second down and 11 for the Thunderwolves. Here's the exchange. And I don't think he lost the handle. He just slipped.
He just slipped trying to make a cutback there.
So Brandon Gray, Burdett, Kansas, played at the Air Force Prep School before transferring here to CSU Pueblo. Got two receivers to the right, one to the left. Gavin with the snap, looking to throw over the top here, and that's going to be overthrown. That's just out of the reach of the intended receiver.
Shatter in that time played they rushed 3 and dropped 8 into coverage. A 5 under 3 zone. Awful hard to find an open receiver into that many defenders dropping into coverage.
And that was Markeel Williamson, sophomore wide receiver out of Lakewood, Washington, who was the target on that play.
I think this is our first third down. Our second third down here.
Here they come. Gavin under pressure, and is the ball loose? It's picked up by the Eagles. They're heading the other direction, and caught from behind down and around the 6-yard line. A fumble by Sean Gavin, and picked up by the Eagles and run back to the CSU Pueblo 8-yard line.
Wow.
A lot of pressure on the young quarterback there.
Now this, obviously, if we were NFL, we'd be clamoring for a replay here, but referee in that case ruled the ball was still on the arm, and therefore a fumble and not an incomplete pass.
Corey Moran with the fumble recovery, a defensive end out of Sargent, Nebraska. And the Eagles are in business, and that's one of the things they wanted to avoid was big-time mistakes.
Yeah, this really puts the CSU Pueblo defense in a bind here.
Well, the Thunderwolves come up big there. John Ritson, the tailback, with the handoff there, 5'8", 168 pounds. Not very big, but he's had a good season so far for the Eagles. No gain there. Might have gained a yard, but second down and goal for Chadron. Opening quarter here, and the Eagles trying to get the first points of the day.
Yeah, huge series for Chadron. They need to come away with a touchdown here. Otherwise, it'll be a moral victory for CSU Pueblo if they can hold them to a field goal view of the field position.
Joe McLean with a pitch, and he's in for a touchdown. John Ritson takes it in, and Chadron State takes advantage of the first mistake of the afternoon with a touchdown run by John Ritson.
That's got to make his dad, Dr. Ritson, proud. Dr. Ritson is the head wrestling coach at Chadron State. And I can remember John when he was in diapers there at Adams State when John was an undergrad student.
Well, that was a good recovery on the pitch by Ritson. He goes into the end zone for the 3rd time this year. He's averaging over 6 yards a carry. And now the extra point try by Travis Adder. And Adder will kick it through, and Chadron State is on the board first here today as they take advantage of the big turnover. And John Ritson takes it in for 6. 7-0 Eagles. The kick back to the 22-yard line for CSU Pueblo, down 7-0 here. And Sean Gavin, the 17-year-old quarterback, brings CSU Pueblo back onto the field, hoping for a little bit better series of downs here.
He started really well, had 3 successful completions, and then they just protection broke down, and they knocked the ball out while he was throwing, and they ruled it a fumble.
Over the middle, and the pass is caught. Big gain here, midfield, 40-yard line, and pushed out of bounds at around the 30-yard line. Daquan Cartwright with a big reception there for the Thunderwolves. Boy, that's a good way to get back some of that momentum.
Without a doubt, that's huge. You know, again, I'm really impressed with Gavin. I mean, he put the ball right on the money.
Huge gain. They mark it inside the 30 at the 27-yard line. 47 yards on that connection from Gavin to Cartwright. Cartwright, 6'1", 192-pound freshman out of South High School, as we mentioned earlier. And 2 receptions coming in for 29 yards and 47-1 play here today. Well, the Thunderwolves trying to answer here, and now time is called. Now Chadron taking advantage of the fumble, and I would like to see that play again because it looked like his arm may have been going forward, and in which case would have been an incomplete pass.
You talk to the CSU Pueblo fans, they'll say it was. The Chadron State fans, they no way, fumble, and that's the way it works.
We've got a pass play here. Hit as he throws, and the pass going to be short of Brandon Gray. Gavin getting some pressure and unable to get enough on the ball, and that'll bring up 2nd down for the Thunderwolves.
Yeah, Chadron was able to get pressure on him and make Gavin throw the ball before he was ready. Otherwise, his receiver was just about to clear. And Gavin did take a pretty good shot there. Now Gavin's coming out of the game. We talked to Coach Riston. I think they're gonna use that running back in their quarterback, number 21.
Shotgun formation. And he's going to keep it himself and gets about 4 or 5 yards. Well, that'll be a 3rd down for the Thunderwolves. That's Brock Beasley.
Now Beasley looks to me is more of the mobile quarterback. They'll run him in there, and then they were going to try to run the option to the left. Beasley saw an opening, cut up inside for 3. So it looks like Coach Riston's strategy, losing his starting quarterback Bobby Washington, he's going to run run a running back in there at time at quarterback.
Beasley listed as a cornerback, and now the screen is caught by Gray, and he's close to a 1st down, and he's got a 1st down. What a run by Gray after the reception. He's not a very tall kid at 5'8", but packs some punch and makes the most out of that play.
Now that was a screen out to the right flat where they brought the lineman out, and if Gray would have had just a little more patience, let the lineman get in front of him, he may have been able to get in the end zone.
It'll be a 9-yard gain on that one and a 1st down outside the 10-yard line. So 1st and 10 for the Thunderwolves, trying to answer here. Gavin back in the shotgun formation. Was 8 for 11 in his first game last week, going for the end zone, and that's incidental contact evidently. No flags thrown. The pass out of the end zone and incomplete.
Yeah, something happened there. CSU Pueblo receiver got tangled up with the DB. Obviously the CSU Pueblo fans would want holding or interference, but there was no call.
David Masulo was the intended receiver on that play out of Fountain Fort Carson High School in Colorado Springs. So a second down for CSU Pueblo, and what a hit there. Jed Erblon comes up to make the tackle. And that'll leave the Thunderwolves with a third down and long here, although they're well within field goal range. The ball sitting at the 10-yard line. The ball again carried by Brandon Gray.
Looks like CSU Pueblo was trying to catch him off guard. They went double tight ends and went on a quick down, and but Shadron obviously was ready for that.
So third down and 9. Gavin looking, throwing. This is going to be well over his intended target. And that's Daquan Cartwright on the far end of the end zone. So they're going to try for 3 here. And on to try and put 3 points up is Kyle Major, the RMAC Special Teams Player of the Week. I guess when you're voted the Player of the Week, you get bright red slippers to wear, because that's what Kyle Major is wearing right now.
Whatever works
for
right?
CSU Pueblo. Ball is spotted at the 17. 27-yard attempt. Looked like somebody got a piece of that, and it is no good.
Right left.
That is unfortunate for CSU Pueblo. I mean, they were set up looking good with a big drive there, but come up short. No points for the Thunderwolves, and what a stand for the Eagles.
Well, that's huge not to come away with any points. Now, they did, obviously establish the field position, but they needed to come away with some points there. They had momentum on their side there for a bit.
And Kyle Major, who had such a good game last week, 3 for 3 in the field goal department in their win at Fort Lewis, 37-7. Now here come the Eagles, and that's going to be a short gain. On the offensive side, we'll take a look at what the Eagles bring. John Ritson with a carry there.
Well, up front, they're led by Puffer, Ben Puffer, number 63. He's an outstanding offensive lineman. And on the running back receivers, McLean and Stockton. Stockton's a transfer from Iowa State. Outstanding athlete.
McLean over the middle. Pass is almost picked off. That was Jerome Page, 5'9" cornerback out of Aurora, Colorado, and Gateway High School, and he would have had 6 had he been able to hang on to that thing. So second down for Shadron here.
Shadron's going with a hurry-up
Third
offense
down, I beg your pardon.
Try to catch him off guard. There's that bubble screen that we had that we've seen before.
Isaac Stockton with the reception, but he's short of the first down. Fourth down and short for the Eagles here. Well, they do rule it a first down. He just got enough.
I don't think Hunter Hughes, the defensive coordinator for CSU Pueblo, liked the spot on that.
I don't think the fans liked it either.
No, irregardless, it's a first down.
So they get it out to the 30-yard line. Shadron State winning at Adams in Alamosa last week, 37-26, after a little bit of a scare.
Yeah, it was
Pass is caught.
18-7 at halftime. And we talked with Coach Boyle before the game.
That's Tyler Watson with the catch.
And he talked about the fact that they're defending league champions 2 years. They haven't lost an RMAC game in 25 games. And so every time they take the field, it's like they have a big target on their chest. Most teams are going to play their best against Shadron.
Now, he wasn't real pleased with the way his team played so far this year. 1-0 in conference, 2-1 in overall. Second down here. McLean over the top and overthrows his intended receiver.
CSU Pueblo had brought the blitz, and fortunately for CSU Pueblo, the receiver was overthrown. He had about 3 or 4 steps. They had a mismatch of a running back on a linebacker there.
Yeah, John Ritson going for that one. Ritson, valuable guy to have back there. He came in averaging over 6 yards a carry. Already has a touchdown today, 3 on the year. Got 4 receivers split out. shotgun formation for McLean. Back to throw, connects, and dumped right away. Jerome Page with a tackle. Brandon Harrington caught the pass. That's going to be up over the 40-yard line and looks to be a first down, and it is. So the Eagles continue to march up the field, trying to turn this thing around. They look like we're in trouble with CSU Pueblo driving, but able to stop them, and now they're approaching midfield here. Joe McLean, the senior quarterback, he's out of Chadron. Hands it off. Big hole for Ritson. Another first down. Flags thrown. Ritson upended at the 45-yard line of CSU Pueblo. Jerome Page with a tackle. And we'll check out the infraction here. Same crew that we had last weekend in Gunnison. And this one's going against Chadron State.
Yeah.
Well, the way things are going, that's exactly what CSU Pueblo needed here.
Yeah, they had a Chadron went into a double tight end offense for so CSU Pueblo to balance up, and they did a nice job. Unfortunately, they had holding downfield.
This is not an easy task for CSU Pueblo today, going against a team that is ranked 12th nationally in rushing defense. They're second in sacks. I mean, overall, they're ranked 18th in the AFCA top 25. This is a big measuring stick for the Thunderwolves. Handoff, short gain there. And that's Ritson once again.
Yeah, you no doubt, Dan, the two previous games that CSU Pueblo has played, the Panhandle State had a 29-game losing streak. Fort Lewis was 1-9 last year. So this game against the defending champion, you've got a team here in Chadron that's been to the playoffs the last 2 years, made it to the quarterfinals. So this will be a better measuring stick of just where their program's at.
Screen pass caught by Isaac Stockton, but Thunderwolves all over that one defensively in a short gain. So 3rd and 5 for the Eagles here. And I talked about the rushing defense for Chadron State, but really you look on the other side of the field, and as we check out the catch here, the Thunderwolves lead the country in total rushing defense coming into the game. But again, you have to look at who they play. We'll get the true measure here this afternoon.
If they're still leading the nation after today's game, then we have something very impressive.
Got 5 receivers in the formation. Bad snap. McLean going to keep it himself. Big hole. And McLean is taken down from behind at the 30-yard line.
That's the thing McLean gives you. He gives you that mobility, a little bit of a high snap, and he was able to run it off the right side for a good gain.
It's a 29-yard pickup. Mark Sterling, the cornerback at a Sierra High School in Colorado Springs, with the tackle. And that may have been a touchdown saving tackle right there. As McLean is taken down from behind, and now 1st and 10 from just inside the 30-yard line of CSU Pueblo. And there's going to be flags here.
Ball start again there on Chadron State.
Prior to the snap, ball start on the offense, number 13.
And we're talking to
First down.
John Riston, the head coach for CSU Pueblo, and he said the 3 keys for him were what? He wanted his offense to manage the game. His defense had to play a great game, and then get a few breaks on the special teams.
He wanted some big plays out of special teams.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we saw the missed field goal. That's not what you consider a big play.
No, not. He wasn't thinking along those lines. Here we go. 4 receivers in the formation, and that's going to be Stockton once again. Stockton turns the corner. Flags thrown. He's inside the 20 and down to the 17, maybe the 16-yard line.
Looks like we have another penalty on Chadron State here. It's going to bring that back. Judging by the reaction of one of their players,
Holding
the culprit.
on the offense.
Yep.
Number 11. 10-yard penalty.
Well, as
First down.
testy as Bill O'Boyle was before the game, this can't help matters here.
No, he really stressed that they've been their own worst enemy. They're making mistakes, and so he probably will give that young man a piece of his mind. I see Coach O'Boyle over there really criticizing the officials, but what else is new? Show me a head coach who doesn't criticize officials.
So here we are. Ball is marked at the 40-yard line, so it's 1st and 20 now for Chadron State, and they've got 5 receivers.
Yeah, they've
empty backfield.
Emptied it out.
Well, you got a senior quarterback who's voted preseason Offensive Player of the Year. Screen pass, Ritson. And he's got a huge gain here. He's got a first down, and he's down to the 15-yard line. What a pickup there. 25 yards for Ritson. Boy, is he having a big day.
Yes, he is. You know, and the thing, when you empty the backfield against a quarterback that lacks mobility, you can pin your ears back and go get after him. But in McLean's case, because he has that ability to run and scramble, you've got to play him. You got to at least give him the respect he's due.
Rand Jansen in on the tackle there. So 1st and 10. Ball is marked at the 15. And here's the give, and there's going to be a touchdown for the Eagles. Aaron Cooksley takes it in, the 5'9" junior tailback out of Grand Island, Nebraska. And the Eagles are on the board for a second time today.
Aaron Cooksley backed up Danny Woodhead the last 2 years, Dan. Danny Woodhead was the Harlan Hill candidate, Harlan Hill winner for Chadron State the last 2 years. And when Danny Woodhead went down last year with a foot injury, Cooksley came in relief and did an admirable job. And of course, the Harlan Hill for Division II is the equivalent to the Heisman Trophy. So, you know, to have the consecutive winner from Chadron State, that's quite an accolade for their program.
Here's the extra point try. And Travis Adder kicks it through. And we've got a 14-0 game here in the first quarter in Pueblo with 4.5 minutes left to play. And the Eagles are on a roll. All Chadron so far here at the Nita and Eddie DeRose Thunder Bowl. And Jeff, you're hoping to talk with Dan DeRose at halftime.
Yeah, we're going to visit with him. He directs the group that made this whole thing possible, Friends of Football here.
What a tremendous job he and the entire staff did. Travis Adder going to kick it away here from the 30-yard line. And the ball is going to be taken at the goal line by the Thunderwolves, and this is Brandon Gray, it looks like, out over the 15 to the 17-yard line. So a 17-yard return. That is Marcus Turner, I beg your pardon. Marcus Turner, who took the kickoff.
Come in late there, Dan.
The flags are thrown, and we'll see what this is all about. CSU Pueblo doesn't need anything going against them, but I'm afraid this is going to be the call.
Dead ball, personal foul on the red, 18.
You know, you coach your young men to be aggressive, Dan, but there's a fine line that they got to walk between being aggressive and being overly aggressive and doing something like that where you get put your team in a pickle.
Well, Sean Gavin, for a 17-year-old, has done a tremendous job so far today, but he's in a hole here. The quarterback will go over the top here.
Wow.
The pass is caught. What a catch. Out around the 30-yard line, and now a flag is thrown, and this is going to go against Chadron State. Maybe a late hit there, but what a throw by Gavin.
That was a great catch on that young man's part. Okay.
Now this is going against CSU Pueblo again.
Well, they called him for offensive interference.
Take another look at the play here as they push the ball back inside the 5-yard line. What a play that was, but interference to call, so apparently there's a reason why he was able to make the catch, although I thought he was pretty well covered here.
He may have pushed off. Elbow, push off with the elbow, push off with the arm. I wasn't able to see it on the replay. But
well, they're going to hand it off here, and no gain on that play. And Brandon Gray with the carry. Tackle made by Thomas Wells, a junior linebacker out of Albion, Nebraska. Second down and 15 yards, 16 yards for CSU Pueblo here, down 14-0.
The penalties have really put CSU Pueblo with their back against the wall right now.
Sean Gavin under center, hands it off. A little bit of an opening there for Brandon Gray, but he is taken down by Jimmy Diaz on the defensive side. It'll be third down for the Thunderwolves. Boy, they had a good drive going there, Jeff, and thought maybe they'd be able to punch it in and tie up the game, but they missed the field goal try, and Chadron State able to take it back the other direction.
Well, they made a big play on that one long pass, and they've shown some athleticism. The receivers can get open and can get downfield.
Gavin throws it and broken up. Nice hit there by Jimmy Diaz, or is that Jed Erblin? Jed Erblin with the contact there, the 5'11" cornerback out of Arvada, Colorado. And that'll be fourth down for CSU Pueblo. Erblin out of Arvada West High School. Short kick. And it's taken over midfield and out of bounds by John Ritson. Ritson takes the ball inside, I should say, the 45-yard line. And that's where the Eagles set up on offense, up 14-0. And they'll mark the ball at the 45. Now, there's a lot to talk about when it comes to Chadron State. We talked about their long winning streak. As a matter of fact, they had a 25-game regular season winning streak ended 2 weeks ago against Pittsburgh State.
That's right.
And they're ranked number 7 heading into action today in the nation. McLean under center. And the ball is dropped. Flags are thrown. And big loss there. Ritson taken down. We'll see if this is going to be procedure or if somebody moved on the defensive side.
Yeah, I stand corrected. Chadron has won 19 straight RMAC games. All the way back to 05.
Still first down.
So another penalty for CSU Pueblo here. They were offsides.
Well, Coach Riston in his pregame comments in the paper this morning said that he wants the CSU Pueblo program to be where Chadron is, indicative of the fact that they do have the two defending champs 2 years consecutively. 19-game winning streak in the RMAC, so this will be the way that they'll be able to judge their program by.
So first down and 5 here. McLean looking over the middle. Oh, in and out of the hands of Isaac Stockton. And he had 6, and he knows it. Just simply dropped it. Perfectly thrown pass by McLean.
Yeah, Chadron ran 4 verticals, 2 on the outside, the sidelines, and 2 down the hash, and had Stockton. And normally Stockton would make that catch.
Hit him in the hands. Sorry about that. So here we go, second down.
Empty that backfield again.
Joe McLean, 5'9", 168-pound senior quarterback, rolling to his right. Looks like he's going to hang on to the ball, and he's going to be nailed. Ball is loose. Flags are thrown. Thunderwolves have the ball, but we'll check out the flag. Chris Brown with the fumble recovery.
No, that was.
Make it to Chase Vaughn with the recovery. This is against Chadron State, and a big break for CSU Pueblo.
That was a design run the whole way, Dan. They pulled the guard out in front of McLean and taking advantage of his speed and athleticism. And but tell you what, CSU Pueblo came up and made a good stick right here. And boom, right there. Number 30.
Yeah, Chris Brown, he forced the fumble.
Got a little momentum again now.
Ball just shy of midfield. Let's see if the Thunderwolves can get some of that momentum back here.
They've got Beasley down under center again. They're just going to run a bootleg with him.
Over midfield, short gain. Beasley listed as a cornerback on the roster. Cornerback, not quarterback. But taking some snaps here today with the injury to Bobby Washington. And here comes Gavin back onto the field.
Quick big question, Dan. Will we see Beasley throw the ball today? That's the question.
Well, Bobby Washington suffered a severe sprained wrist in the game last week in the win over Fort Lewis, and Gavin played pretty much the entire second half. Looking to throw here. Pass is caught. Nice catch by Marcus Turner, I beg your pardon. And Turner has a first down at the 28-yard line of Chadron State.
That's just a simple three-step fade route. Quarterback drops back 3 steps, throws the fade to the receiver. The receiver's got the advantage over the DB in that he could see the ball the entire way. And Gavin really put the ball right on the money. It was just a beautiful, beautiful fade route pass that he completed there.
Brandon Gray will set up behind Gavin here. 2 receivers set. Ball at the 28. Give to Gray. Straight up the middle. No gain. Maybe 1 if he's lucky. So the turnover here. And Thunderwolves would love to slice that lead in half with a touchdown, but at least they'd like to get some points on the board here.
At least up to this point, Dan, it looks to me like the Chadron State defensive line is winning the battle in the trenches. They're dominating the line of scrimmage. CSU Pueblo has not been able to establish a running game inside whatsoever. And when you're running the type of offense that CSU Pueblo is running, where they do play action, it makes it a little bit difficult to have a successful play action game if you can't get that running game going. We're going to come to the end of the quarter here, looks like, Dan.
And we are indeed at the end of one here at the Nita and Eddie DeRose Thunder Bowl. So far it's been all Chadron State, but CSU Pueblo trying to answer here as we head into the second quarter when we come back. First ever red out here at the Nita and Eddie DeRose Thunder Bowl, and some fans decided to just paint themselves red instead of wearing the red t-shirt. First play of the second quarter is a pass, and it's going to be caught. What a catch! One-handed grab, and down right there is John Cartwright, the 6'2" redshirt freshman tight end, with a spectacular catch. And CSU Pueblo is
a one-handed catch.
Down. Let's see here. What are we doing? We got a flag back. That's going to bring this play back. But what a catch by Cartwright. 19 yards, but it's going to be called back.
I don't care what level of football we're talking about. That was a sensational one-handed catch by that young man. It's unfortunate that he'll be negated by a penalty.
So instead of a first and goal, it's going to be first down inside the 40-yard line. First and 20 for CSU Pueblo here. Second down, I beg your pardon. CSU Pueblo with 4 first downs so far in the afternoon to Chadron 7. And Gavin in trouble, just dumps it off. And looking for intentional grounding is John Meduna, who was back there.
Gavin did a nice job of sidestepping the initial rush, but unfortunately there was another defender there on him before he could get the ball off.
We've got Jay Maduna.
That goes back to
And Mines leading big over Fort Louis 3.
That goes back to what I mentioned earlier, the fact that it's hard to run play action if your running game isn't going real well. Right now, Chadron doesn't really have to respect the running game, and they can pin their ears back and not have to worry about the run.
I guess that was a final score there. We didn't get an update as to whether or not that game was in progress. Going deep, but well overthrown, and Gavin taking a hit as he got rid of that ball. So 3rd down and long for CSU Pueblo. Back there defending on the play was Aaron Ide.
Well, again, Shadow went into a three-man rush, dropped 8 in the coverage, and that's awful hard to throw into that. And I know it probably upsets the offensive line coach for CSU Pueblo, Wayne McGinn, that they were still able to get pressure on Gavin with a three-man rush.
Punt is going to go into the end zone. It would appear they're unable to down it before it went into the end zone, and so Chadron going to set up at their own 20-yard line, and they dodge a huge bullet right there. Tell you what, mistakes so far, Coach, have really cost the Thunderwolves.
Well, they have. The penalties have been significant in the first half. They really dramatically changed the game.
So here come the Eagles. Bill McLean so far on the day, 5 for 7 for 42 yards in the passing department. And John Ritson has been huge today as well for the Eagles. He has 4 receptions for 59 yards and a touchdown. Screen, and this is going to be a big gainer. And out over the 40-yard line for the Eagles, and that's Isaac Stockton. He's been active today.
Well, they had him in a numbers game. Simply by alignment, they had him outnumbered by having the bubble screen set up before the ball was even snapped. CSU Pueblo needed to bring probably another defender over the top, and I don't know if that was an audible or not, but that they had him certainly outnumbered there at the point of attack.
20-yard pickup there. Chadron on the move. McLean going to dump it off on the screen. Another big hole. And out over midfield, down around the 40-yard line is Aaron Cooksley, who has a touchdown today.
I like the call. After a big successful gain, you run the screen pass. The defensive linemen are probably getting their tails chewed a little bit on the previous play for not getting a pass rush. And so now you run the screen, let them rush the passer, and look at the escort that Cooksley had out in front of him. A bevy of beef out there in front of him, Dan.
Colorado beat. 17-yard gain on that one, and now Cooksley with the pitch there, and he's got another first down.
Chadron's now starting to show signs of why they are a defending champion and have had such a successful program. There they went into a bunch set where they bunched the receivers tight, draw the formation in, and then simply toss the ball to Cooksley outside.
11-yard pickup, another first down. They're just eating up yardage here, Coach.
Yeah, this is not a good position to be in.
A tight formation here. They pitch it back, and no gain there as CSU Pueblo comes up big on the stop. And leading the way, Terrence Newman, no relation to the Dallas Cowboys cornerback, but he's a corner. Steve Jordan with the, I beg your pardon.
Jordan came up and did a nice job on that play. The mirror play of the previous one that they got the big gain on.
Looking to throw here. McLean passes in and out of the hands. It was a little bit high and going to be incomplete. one of the few mistakes they've made today. Jeff Alcorn was the intended receiver.
Yeah, it looks like it was a catchable ball. Right in and out of his hands. Would have been a great catch.
It would have been, yeah.
Certainly catchable.
So 3rd down here, a big play for the CSU Pueblo defense. The flags are thrown.
False start. Oh, there.
False start on the offense, number 11.
Well,
5-yard penalty. Phil Jackson.
neither head coach can be very pleased with the way their team has played as far as penalties are concerned so far this afternoon.
Well, it certainly makes a big difference between 3rd and 8, 3rd and 13.
Ball is resting just outside the 35-yard line of CSU Pueblo. Shotgun formation. McLean back to throw. Rolling to his left. And the pass is broken up. Intended for Isaac Stockton. And Jerome Page, who's had a few big hits today, was able to come up big there.
Well, he definitely had the yardage for a first down. That was a huge hit by Page to force Stockton not to drop the ball. McCain put it right on the money. It had the first down. Big play by the defense there.
Well, 4th down and 13 here.
Now, McLean, he's been known to pooch punt it out of this formation. He certainly is capable of just taking the ball here and pooching it down. We'll see if they go for it.
Yeah, he's going to do just that.
Yeah.
And the ball's going to go into the end zone.
Now, he would have wished that he'd have got a little bit, you know, at least inside the 10. But that's the athleticism that a McLean gives you.
Well, the Thunderwolves able to avoid disaster there, but they still trail here in the second quarter, 14-0. 3 left in the half, and CSU Pueblo with the ball at their own 20-yard line.
Got Beasley back in here, Dan.
And he's going to be dumped for a big loss there. I don't think they're fooling Chadron State too much.
Well, I actually think that was a pass. It was Beasley just couldn't get outside the rush. It was a protection breakdown.
It was Shane Odell, the 6'4" defensive end, who was all over that play. And Beasley will leave. And that's a loss of 8 yards. So 2nd down and 18 now or 2nd down and 19 for CSU Pueblo. Gavin hands it off. That's a short gain. That's Brandon Gray with a carry. And an Air Force prep.
Boy, it just seems to me that CSU Pueblo has not had any field position whatsoever this first half, other than in the one play earlier in the first quarter. But it seems the whole the rest of the game they've been backed up against their own end zone, facing long yardage situations. I mean, what are you going to do here, Dan? You got 3rd and 17. You're on your 12-yard line. You don't have a lot of options here.
Yeah, and it could be a lot worse. I mean, they're only down 14-0. Turnover by Chadron.
They're going to have procedure. They had two players moving at once.
And Thunderwolves are going to be pushed back once again.
Get over here. Penalty decline. 4th down.
4th down, and here comes the punting unit for the Thunderwolves. In good field position for Chadron State when this is all said and done.
Yeah, they're definitely going to end up with a short field again. And remember, Coach Riston, he said one of the keys was make them have the long field and drive the ball.
Jade Jed Erbland. And flags are down. Erbland with the return. Another penalty, 42-yard punt, 7-yard return. That was Lee Meisner. Punting that one away for CSU Pueblo.
Waiting on the call here.
Ball is resting right now at the 43-yard line of CSU Pueblo for Chadron. We'll check out what the call is going to be here, if anything, by this crew out of Colorado Springs.
Well, we got a good crowd on hand today. You know, I was commenting before the game that all the festivities going on outside with the tailgate parties, and it feels like a Division I atmosphere here that folks in Pueblo can be real proud of what they built here.
On the return team. 23, 10 yards from the end of the kick. CSK first down.
Chase Rasby called on the block in the back, and that's going to push Chadron back.
Took a long time for them to figure out that that was a simple, block in the back.
Maybe they were discussing what they're going to do after the game as well.
Yeah, maybe so.
Got to figure those things out too. I mean, get your priorities straight here. Chadron going to set up on offense. Still decent field position. The ball at their own 37-yard line, but could have been a lot worse for CSU Pueblo if not for the penalty.
Well, now they're conferring over there with Coach O'Boyle. Evidently, Coach O'Boyle needs explanation as to what transpired.
Just under 10 minutes left in the half. And now I guess he's satisfied with whatever he heard, or at least is willing to let it go.
All right. Yeah, we can play football again.
Here come the Eagles. Handoff. Big gain. Out over midfield. And bumped out of bounds just outside the 30-yard line. And that's Aaron Cooksley with a huge gain on first down. Now, so much for that top-ranked rushing defense.
Yeah, again, I mentioned earlier that they're dominating both sides of the line of scrimmage. The Chadron State offensive line is really taking it to the defensive line for CSU Pueblo now.
50-yard scamper for Cooksley. He's got to be approaching the century mark today. We still have 9 minutes left in the half. There's Cooksley again. Over the 30, down inside the 30 to around the 29-yard line.
It's good old-fashioned, hard-nosed football there, Dan. The offensive line for Chadron's coming off the ball. They're getting in the face of the defensive line for CSU Pueblo, and they're just knocking them back. Running backs are slamming up in there hard. And, and they can keep fresh legs between Cooksley and Ritson.
Second down and 7. Tight formation. Cooksley in the backfield. McLean pitches it back, reverse, and over the 25 to around the 20-yard line. That's Joel Schomer, I believe, who got the handoff on the reverse, the 6'1" senior out of Brainerd, Nebraska.
Well, they ran that bunch formation sweep and had the reverse set up. Look at McLean out there leading interference. McLean actually gets a block. Enough to get first down.
So he throws it, he runs it, he picks it, and then he blocks as well. Pass is tipped and incomplete. Nice play there by the CSU Pueblo defense. Aaron Hernandez, the safety, 5'9", 185 pounds, out of South High School, and a transfer from Adams State.
That was a significant play by Hernandez there because McLean had his receiver wide open. The running game's been working for them very effectively, so they ran the naked boot. Had Hernandez not knocked the ball down, it would probably have been a completion for a big play.
2nd down and 10 for the Eagles here. Up by 2 touchdowns. McLean in the shotgun, and he's going to dump it off. Screen was set up, but poorly executed. That was intended for Aaron Cooksley out there. So 3rd down now coming up for Shadron.
That was a mirror screen. Previous drive, they ran the screen here to the right side for big gain. They went back to it on the left side, but in that case, the defensive lineman, number 90 for CSU, Pueblo, smelled that screen out, did a good job.
Just over 8 minutes left in the half.
Martin Proctor.
So 3rd down and 10 for the Eagles. 2 receivers to the right. Single setback is Cooksley. McLean with the snap, rolling right. And a great catch made for a 1st down by Brandon Harrington. What a grab that was.
That was a sensational catch. Not enough. Oh, wait a minute. I rolled that incomplete,
Yeah,
I'm afraid.
he did drop the ball.
Yeah.
On a 2nd look. So 4th down coming up for Shadron. He sold me on it.
Would have been a great catch. He had it until the turf knocked it out.
We're going for 3 here. Going to be a 39-yard attempt. And the kick is true. So Shadron tacks 3 more on the board. Travis Adder with the field goal. And the Eagles are up by 17 here in the 2nd quarter. 17-0. Shadron with just over 8 minutes left in the half on a gorgeous day here in the Steel City at the Nita and Eddie DeRose Thunder Bowl. Great crowd on hand, but it's been all Eagles so far. As Travis Adder, who just booted that field goal, 39-yarder to put him up 3 more, 17-0. Adder getting ready to kick it off from his own 30-yard line. Going to be a short kick. And a fair catch. A fair catch on a kickoff is taken by Fletcher Sargent. Have you seen a lot of that on kickoffs or what?
Yeah, he's probably instructed to do that if it's rather than have him risk the chance of trying for a run back and fumbling. It's not bad field position. I mean, 27-yard line.
Yeah, but I mean, he's capable of running the ball. He's a fullback, but apparently
he may have thought the coverage was coming down on him,
perhaps
more closer than what he realized.
27-yard line for the Thunderwolves here. Gavin, the freshman quarterback, standing tall in the pocket, but the pocket collapses and down he goes at around the 19-18-yard line. Like Shane Odell was leading the charge there.
That's a tough position for a freshman quarterback to be put in. It was a coverage sack. Gavin didn't have any receivers out here that were open, and he had to eat the football. And sometimes that football doesn't taste very good. Especially now when you end up with a 2nd and 17.
Well, but I mean, better that than taking a risk and throwing the ball and maybe getting it picked off or a fumble. And
exactly.
Learning process, going to dump it off. And this is going to be a pretty good gain here. Out over the 30-yard line to around the 33-yard line.
Wait a minute.
That's Jesse Lewis. We took the pass there, a little screen.
Yeah, the winner gets the flow. Run the screen back to the backside. He made a nice play. Got about 5-6 yards after the initial contact.
Lewis, another freshman, and according to the reports we had when practice began, 90% freshmen came out for the team. Of course, brand new program. That's to be expected.
Well, yeah, a lot of more Coach Fisk would consider walk-ons.
Pass is caught. Looks like a first down. Short of the 40-yard line. Marcus Turner out of Peoria, Arizona, and Glendale Community College on the reception, and a first down for the Thunderwolves.
Now, when they announced the start of football here at CSU Pueblo, it was like a brand new shiny sports car, and a lot of your high school kids wanted to be involved in that. And of course, Coach Riston had a complete open-door tryout policy. Many of those young men that did try out aren't on the team now, but they did have a tryout policy last spring.
Going deep, and passes overthrown. Demetrius Gilmore, running back, freshman running back out of Harrison High School in Colorado Springs, trying to pull that one down, but too far out of his reach. And now going to be second down for the Thunderwolves, down by 17 with just over 6 minutes left in the half.
Now, when you think about the challenges that face this program, and to start up, you've got players, you've got scholarships, you've got coaching staff, you've got equipment, protective equipment, field equipment, audiovisual, athletic training. It's huge what this institution did in 18 months.
Gavin back, sets up the screen, and the Eagles going to snuff it out. No gain on the play. It was Jesse Lewis. Took the screen pass, but nothing there.
Other programs, startup programs around the country, whether we talk college or high school, many times they'll bring in a freshman class, sophomore class, and they'll play a JV schedule. But in this case, they jumped right into full RMAC competition, and it was definitely a challenge.
Got off to a 2-0 start, well, so that was very positive.
Right, but you know, Cinderella, you know, it may be striking midnight here pretty quick here. It's Shadner State in town.
Delayed give and nothing there. Jesse Lewis once again who got the handoff, but the door was slammed very quickly. And leading the way was Jay Meduna, the 6'4" junior defensive end for the Eagles. And now fourth down for the Thunderwolves here. Lee Meisner back to punt it away. On his own 30-yard line, a short kick bounces at the 30, inside the 30 to the 28-yard line, and that's where the Eagles will set up on offense, up by 17 with 4:44 remaining in the half here at the Nita and Eddie DeRose Thunder Bowl on a beautiful afternoon here in the Steel City. 4:44 remaining here in Pueblo, and the Eagles have the ball inside their own 30-yard line. Joe McClain under center. He's going to hand it off. And up over the 30 to the 35, flags are thrown. That was Aaron Cookson with the carry, and we'll see what the flags are all about here. That's about the only thing you can say for Chadron, what they have done today as far as the negative side is concerned are the penalties.
Without a doubt. That was a outside zone play.
That's a big one. Brandon Harrington, the junior wide receiver, on the call there for the illegal block. And that pushes them back 15 yards.
That really helps CSU Pueblo, because it negate a little bit of their ability to just, you know, run the ball at them.
A 15-yard infraction, 1st and 25 for Chadron.
I'm real impressed with Chadron's offensive line there, especially on that last play, that zone scheme. They're just coming off the ball, they're locking on, and they're really getting some movement off line of scrimmage.
You've got Aaron Cooksley lined up in the backfield, screen, and up over the 25-yard line.
Tyler Watson out there leading on that bubble screen, made a key block. And right here you'll see him make a key block right there. get more yardage out of the play.
Well, they get some of that penalty back. 2nd down and 12 now for the Eagles. Ball resting at the 27-yard line. And here comes some more flags. Well, they're going to wear those things out.
Get a false start.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense, number 11.
Well,
now the thing is, Dan, that's the thing that drives you crazy. A receiver should never be, you know, in a situation where he's creating a false start penalty, because the receiver is supposed to be going on ball, and that sometimes they lose their concentration. And
well, based on the size, if nothing else, of Bill O'Boyle, head coach for Chadron, he's the last guy I'd want to get mad at me.
yeah, I hear you. I don't think
He is huge.
He is.
He's a rock of a man.
Yeah, he's fit.
Looks like he could still play. Let me guess, offensive lineman or what? What was?
I'm not sure. Somewhere in the line. I'm going to guess offensive line.
Lots of time here for McClain, and he's going to complete the pass. Good improvisation, and that's Tyler Watson on the reception.
Well, Tyler made up for that false start the previous play. He helped get his team a little bit out of a bind. They don't have the first yet. But that was a nice sideline route. McClain put it right on the money. Kid makes a nice catch there.
10-yard pickup on the play.
You know, you see that they're utilizing McClain very intelligently by, you know, having him do a little bit of a roll, semi-roll, move the pocket. He's not a tall kid. It's hard for him to stand in a pocket offense. It'd be like launching grenades out of foxholes because he's a little bit short. But so they do a good job of getting him on the seam, rolling here, moving the pocket outside.
And there's a first down. Out near the 40-yard line, that's Brandon Harrington on the other end of that reception. Jerome Page on the coverage and the tackle.
And what's really impressive on that, Dan, is it's hard for a right-handed quarterback to go to his left. And you can see McClain is able to go left, get his shoulder squared. I mean, he put some zip on that football. That is one of the hardest things for any quarterback to do. Sprint left, and throw a rope.
He's a local kid out of Chadron, Joe McClain. He's a senior. He's got 4 receivers in the formation. And going to flare it out. This is Stockton. Big hit there. Stockton is out over the 45-yard line, and another flag is thrown. And that flag actually hit Lee Meisner, the linebacker for CSU Pueblo. Inadvertently, of course. And we'll check it out. This has been sloppy, to say the very least, in the first half.
Yeah, it's been raining a little bit of yellow here today in this first half.
What, as a coach, do you say to your team? This is against the Eagles. If you're Chadron, I mean, you're leading 17-0, but obviously the penalties are a big issue.
Well, in this case, I mean, they call holding. And let's face it, if you really wanted to get technical, you could probably call holding on every play.
Yeah, but there have been illegal blocks.
Yeah.
There's been procedure. There's been...
And it's those mental things that probably, you know, would drive Coach O'Boyle crazy, and Coach Riston on the other hand.
This pushes back the Eagles inside the 40-yard line. Approaching the 2-minute mark in the half. And really, it could be a lot worse for the Thunderwolves, if not for the penalties by the Eagles. So first down and 15 for Chadron. McClain in the shotgun. And pass is complete. 45-yard line. It's Brandon Harrington on the catch once again out of Northwest High School in Nebraska.
Well, that time it was a pocket pass. McClain did a nice job of finding the open throwing lane to throw through. Yeah.
Inside 2 minutes now left in the half. Wind beginning to pick up here. What a beautiful day. Got a second down and 6 for Chadron. McClain going to shovel pass. And there's a first down and more. 30-yard line, 25-20, bumped out of bounds is John Ritson. Shovel pass, and it works beautifully for Shadron. McLean to Ritson. 35-yard pickup there. Ritson's been huge today on the receiving end of some passes from Joe McLean. And the ball is marked inside the 20-yard line of the 19. 1:48 left in the half. McLean barking out the signals. He's going to hand it off straight up the middle. Big hole there. Inside the 15, John Ritson with the carry. Ritson and Cooksley have both been workhorses today. 7-yard pickup there. Second down. And a long 3 for Shadron. Trying to put some more points on the board before the half. McLean takes the snap. Pitch to the right. Nothing there. Upended. A loss on the play is John Ritson. Casey Gonzalez on the tackle there as we look at it again. And the pitch is snuffed out by Gonzalez. Casey Gonzalez, 6-foot sophomore linebacker out of Sierra High School in Colorado Springs. Inside a minute left in the half, and it's been all Shadron so far. Back with the final few plays of the first half in a moment. 3rd down and 5 for Shadron here. Inside the 15-yard line of CSU Pueblo. McLean looking to throw, and he's got a touchdown. Brandon Harrington hit him right between the numbers. Harrington, the 6'4" junior wide receiver out of Grand Island, Nebraska, with a touchdown pass from McLean. 15 yards on the connection, and Shadron with 6 more here in the first half. So they are really beginning to pull away. Pass right on the money. Defending on the play was Mark Sterling at a Sierra High School in Colorado Springs, and now Travis Adder is on for the extra point try. Trying to make it 24-0, and a fake. The throw, and they convert. 2 points. Isaac Stockton caught the pass. And I'll tell you what, Shadron pulling all the tricks out of their bag today. Joe McLean, who was holding, takes the snap, rolls out, throws it, a strike, and he was wide open. Isaac Stockton out of Mitchell High School in Colorado Springs takes it in for the 2-point conversion. And Shadron is in complete control of this game. If not for the penalties and the few mistakes they have made, this could be really ugly for CSU Pueblo. So 25-0 the score, with 53 seconds left in the half. Joe McLean was the holder on that extra point try, and he just simply took the ball and flipped it to a wide open Isaac Stockton for the 2-point conversion, instead of settling for 1, which is a little bit surprising. Short kick, and a fair catch is called by one of the guys out there, not the guy who took the kicks. Fletcher Sargent was the guy who received the kick, but a fair catch is called for once again, and the ball is marked to the 30-yard line. Fletcher Sargent, he wasn't the guy who called for the fair catch. His teammate did, but the officials still recognize the call, and that's where CSU Pueblo will set up on offense. with time running out here in the first half. I mean, not a cloud to be seen overhead, a few clouds off to the south, but it's a beautiful day here in southern Colorado. And Gavin's going down. Sean Gavin, the 17-year-old back, is sacked. And that's Jared Coaster with the sack there, 6-yard loss. Gavin throws it, flags are thrown, pass is incomplete. Thomas Ewell was defending on the play. Pass was intended for Demetrius Gilmore. Another flag. It's likely going to go against CSU Pueblo, and it's an illegal block. A 15-yard infraction. And things continue to go south for CSU Pueblo, down 25-0. We've got lots to share with you at halftime. Jeff will be chatting with Chadron State head coach Bill O'Boyle right after the half expires here. 23 seconds left. And the ball is marked at the 12-yard line. Going to be an inside give here. That's Brandon Gray, and he's got some daylight. 40-yard line, one man to beat, and he's bumped out of bounds inside the 35 to the 34-yard line of Chadron. Brandon Gray with a huge play there on a simple handoff, and he takes it into Chadron territory at the 33.5-yard line. That's a 54-yard scamper for Brandon Gray, and now time is called by CSU Pueblo. So the Thunderwolves trying to put some points on the board before the half expires. Just 13:31 remaining. 13 seconds remaining in the half, and CSU Pueblo talking it over here. Bill O'Boyle, the head coach for Chadron, is chatting with the official, and I'm sure he is still fuming about all the penalties that his team has been assessed today. Bill O'Boyle has been a tremendous story for the Eagles in his fourth year. 30-9 record, including back-to-back RMAC championships. Great tradition here, and he has not slowed the train down whatsoever. So here come the Thunderwolves. Ball is marked at the 33, make it the 33-yard line. Gavin back, and the pass is going to be caught. Pass is scooped up by Demetrius Gilmore. Nice play there. And a first down for the Thunderwolves. Clock is stopped. 1 second remaining. Great catch. They had replay here in Division II. That one might be reviewed. 15-yard connection from Gavin to Gilmore. And the Thunderwolves down by 25 points with just over 1 second remaining in the half are discussing their options here. I mean, a field goal does very little for you, but we'll see what John Wriston has in store. At halftime, including a chat with both coaches, Jeff Geiser will also visit with the president of CSU Pueblo, Joe Garcia. Also, hopefully get Dan DeRose to chat with us. He's standing by, hopefully. And final play of the half forthcoming here. Gavin from the shotgun, standing at his own, or standing at the 23-yard line of Shadron. Gavin looking for the end zone. Double coverage. Flags are thrown. Pass is incomplete. And that was DeJuan Cartwright, who was out there for the Thunderwolves, and this is going to go against Shadron.
On the defense, number 1 on eligible receiver, 10-yard penalty, first down.
So a 10-yard penalty and a first down for the Thunderwolves. Just to put some time back on the clock. As Gavin is under center now, they've got 3 seconds on the clock now. Gavin is back. He's in trouble, and he's going to try and dump it off, but the pass is incomplete, and that's going to be the end of the first half. So CSU Pueblo decides to go for 6, and they come up empty. All Shadron here in the first half, despite a tremendous amount of penalties. 25-0 Eagles lead here at the Nita and Eddie DeRose Thunder Bowl. Well, we got a big halftime for you. Conversations with the head coaches and CSU Pueblo President Joe Garcia. Dan DeRose going to be standing by. Feature on Joe McLean, starting quarterback for Shadron State. This big crowd a little bit disappointed over what has transpired so far, but hoping their Thunderwolves can come back here in the second half on a gorgeous day here in the Steel City.
Yours. Coach Ball, how would you assess your team's performance in the first half?
Yeah, the defense playing really well and doing a nice job flying around making plays, and like the defense we know, and I'm very happy to see them show up. Offensively, it's just momentum is being taken away from us just from penalties, and we got to wake up.
Okay, what any major adjustments that you're looking to make here for the second half?
Nah, I mean, we'll go in and we'll sit down and talk about what we're looking at and what the defense is showing us, and I'm sure Coach Howard and the defensive staff will do the same as far as formation and what they're doing offensively. So we'll make some slight adjustments over half. We'll come out and try to control the ball a little bit more.
Okay, good luck second half, Coach. Back up to you, Dan Karcher, up in the press box.
Okay, Jeff, thank you. Bill O'Boyle, the fourth-year head coach for Shadron, and 25-0. It can't be all bad for him, but it could be better as well. He knows that. The two-time defending RMAC champions taking it to CSU Pueblo so far today. Halftime here at the Nita and Eddie DeRose Thunder Bowl. Back with more on this Saturday afternoon. Welcome back to Pueblo. All Eagles in this one, 25-0, as we get ready for the second half. Well, Shadron State was led by two-time Harlan Hill winner Danny Woodhead the last 4 years. But the team's offensive MVP last season was actually quarterback Joe McLean. Listed at just 5'8", the smallish quarterback is a big reason the Eagles are the favorite once again to win the RMAC, as Eric Lansing reports.
At the bottom of the formation, going that way, looking for Stropko. Got it! Touchdown, Shadron.
Now, in his senior season, Joe McLean has high expectations for his team and himself.
We guys got to go out and show it on the field, and that's what we got to do, take care of business.
McLean is a homegrown talent, born and raised in Shadron. When he was a kid, McLean was the ball boy for the Eagles and dreamed of playing for his favorite team.
You know, watching in high school the way, you know, our coaches are, the way that Shadron State plays, you know, just the program, you know, is just something I grew to be, you know, to want to be a part of.
When McLean arrived as a freshman, his future as a quarterback was in question, as head coach Bill O'Boyle had other plans for the rookie.
You know, Joe will tell you the story when I recruited him. I thought he was a heck of a place kicker. You know, we knew he was a good athlete and he was a good quarterback, but we had no idea.
McLean's kicking career was kicked to the curb. During his freshman season, McLean was forced into action because the Eagles' starting QB got hurt, and McLean never looked back. During his sophomore year, McLean helped the Eagles to a 12-1 record and a spot in the NCAA playoffs.
And the winner of the 2006 Harlan Hill Trophy as Division II College Football Player of the Year is Danny Woodhead from Chadron State.
For the past 4 years, you couldn't mention Chadron State football without mentioning running back Danny Woodhead, who earned Division II National Player of the Year honors in consecutive seasons. But now that Woodhead is in the pros, is McLean the new face of Chadron State?
No, I don't think so. It's our whole team. I mean, you look at our success the last couple of years, it's all the players. You know, I've been fortunate enough to play with some unbelievable players, and I think we got a great shot this year. We got a lot of guys coming back, and I'm hoping it's going to be the same type of deal, and I'm hoping we'll do even better.
For the RMAC Showcase, I'm Eric Lansing.
Thank you, Eric. Appreciate that. Nice feature on Joe McLean as we get ready for the second half. And Jeff Geiser has the tough duty of talking it over with the head coach of CSU Pueblo, John Riston, whose team is down 25-0 at the half to Chadron. And Jeff, what can you tell us from downstairs? You're standing by with John Riston. Take it away.
Coach Riston, you kind of dug yourself a hole down 25-0. You have any changes to the game plan? Or are you going to stay with the game plan you brought in?
Well, we're going to try to stay with it. Just going to try to make sure that we don't beat ourselves. You know, really, if you look at it, we had a chance to be. It really should be 21-14, and you know, we're playing against a great team, and they've done a great job, and they're the champs, and we want to get there, but we got a long ways to go, and hopefully we can continue. Hopefully, have a great second half.
Any adjustments?
Well, we're going to try to make sure that we change our protection a little bit to help us, and then we'll try to get a little speed on the grass a little bit.
All right, good luck this second half, Coach. Okay, that was Coach Riston. Back up to you, Dan.
Ready to go here in the second half, and it's all Chadron so far, 25-0, and Kyle Major getting ready to kick it away here with Brandon Harrington and Maurice Threets deep to receive the kick for the Eagles, and here we go. Major gets it away. The ball going to be taken by Harrington at the goal line. Harrington up over the 10-15, and he is hammered down to the 17-yard line. Harrington taken down.
That was a great hit by Matt Cole on that coverage.
Check out the statistics from the first half, Jeff, and they're pretty glaring.
Yeah, no surprise there. Obviously, you look at the rush yards for Chadron State, 180 to 53, and they're able then to operate their play-action passing game, whereas CSU Pueblo has been negated.
And check out those penalty yards too when we get a chance for you.
But you saw, you heard Coach Riston at halftime say they're going to stick with the game plan. They're going to change it.
Well, here's Joe McLean. Going to pitch it back, big hole, but it's closed up in a hurry. In on the tackle, Steve Jordan, linebacker out of West High School here in Pueblo. That was John Ritson on the carry.
John Ritson
lost his shoe.
Yeah, blew a tire.
So a short pickup, 2 yards, second down and 8.
Obviously, Chadron wants to come out and just play good old ball control football. Don't make any mistakes, burn the clock.
And Aaron Cooksley set up aside Joe McLean in the backfield in the shotgun formation. And there's going to be another penalty against Chadron.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense.
Seen our share of those today.
5-yard penalty, second down.
It's Grady Goldhammer.
And got a little anxious on setting up pass protection. You worry as a coach coming out with 25-0 lead about your kids getting complacent in the second half and then making some mistakes and allowing the opponent to get back in the ball game.
Well, second down and 14 now. Got 4 receivers in the formation. Cooksley in the backfield, and now another flag. Well, another false start. Penalties in the first half, Coach. 10 for Chadron for 71 yards. 6 for the Thunderwolves for 34 yards. He can't be too happy right now. He looks like he's got steam coming out of his ears if you look closely enough.
Yeah, these are not the way you want to start. We'll see what happens here on this second and long. Those are just mental miscues, and those are the ones that drive coaches crazy.
Major looking to throw, screen, and a big gain here, 25, 28, maybe the 30-yard line. Aaron Cooksley on the other end of that reception, and he comes up a little bit lame there.
That was an excellent block out there by Schomer, who outstanding block, and that sprang Cooksley for the first down.
Brandon Harrington also had a pretty good block out there for the Eagles and get it out to the 28-yard line. Good for a first down. I tell you, they get the penalties, but they're sure able to recover.
Now here they're running the outside zone.
Big hit there. Aaron Hernandez with the hit there to take down John Ritson.
Well, the encouraging thing for CSU Pueblo is they're not playing with very many upperclassmen. It's a very young team, obviously, with a new program. And so the future looks very bright for them. I see a lot of talent out there. I don't see any kids with their heads down. I don't see anybody quitting. And I think that's reflective of their coach. Their coach is a fighter, and Coach Whiston, and you know, they're still going to be in this football game.
Now keep in mind, I mean, they are doing it without their starting quarterback, Bobby Washington. That's got to count for something.
Well, exactly. And there's a nice play there.
Was it ever? Lee Meisner, freshman linebacker.
It seemed to me like we're calling out a lot of freshmen making plays out there, and that could bode very badly for the RMAC of the future. This is a program that's no doubt in my mind it's headed up, given their facilities, their ability to recruit to Pueblo with everything it has to offer. It's a football-crazy town. As President Garcia alluded to at halftime, a lot of growth going on campus.
Ritson set up in the backfield. Here's McClain. Steps out of pressure, dumps it off to Ritson. Ritson to the 39-yard line. That looks to be good for a first down.
And you can see what a veteran quarterback does for you when you got a senior like McClain. He's very calm and cool in the pocket, steps up, finds an open receiver, makes it awful difficult for the defense.
Well, Joe McClain, we had a feature on him at the half, and he is looking to go 30-4 as a starter.
That's impressive, isn't it?
For the Eagles. The interesting thing is that he's had 3 games of 300-plus yards passing, and he's lost 2 of those, or at least the team has.
Yeah.
So I guess if you're forced to pass that much, it's not good. He's got a connection here. Brandon Harrington, the junior wide receiver out of Grand Island, Nebraska, with the catch, and that was Jerry McWilliams on the hit.
And McClain's a local kid there at Chadron High School. Last year in that triple overtime playoff game against Abilene Christian and Chadron, we thought we were going to have to move the game as darkness was approaching down to Chadron High School for life. Get this, as a national playoff game, we'd had to move it to finish it because it was going that long. Triple overtime, they established 13 NCAA records that day.
There's the handoff, Ritson up near midfield. John Ritson.
I think I alluded to that game last week when Chadron was down 28 points with 12 minutes to play and come back and tie it. It was really one of the greatest games I've ever witnessed, and it's a testament to the type of character that you find in the Chadron State Eagles.
We talk about John Ritson's dad, Scott, the Chadron wrestling coach, All-American wrestler at Adams State.
Yes, outstanding wrestler and a good friend of mine. And I was fortunate that when Scott was down at UNM, University of Mexico, getting his doctorate, he asked me to serve on his dissertation committee. I was honored to do so. And as we said, we followed their careers. They moved up to Chadron many years ago. He's had a very successful career up there as a wrestling coach. I know he's probably beaming seeing his son having the career he has for the Eagles.
Rushed over 100 yards last week in their victory at Adams State. And he's having a big day again today. So another first down for the Eagles. Ritson lined up, the only setback behind McClain. And Ritson gets the pitch, able to turn the corner and over midfield down to the 45-yard line of CSU Pueblo. That was a nice run by John Ritson. He's only 5'8", 168 pounds, but he makes the most with what he has, and really filling big shoes with Danny Woodhead leaving, and now in the NFL with the New York Jets.
Yeah, Danny Woodhead did sign with the Jets as a free agent. He did get injured during training camp, is on their IR, injured reserve list.
On the Harlan Hill Award, two-time winner, Danny Woodhead. Here's a rollout by McClain, and he's going to run it, and he's going to get a first down. Or at least, yeah, he got to the 40-yard line, so McClain pulls it down and takes it himself, and it's another first down for the Eagles.
There you see the mobility from Adam McClain. Ability to scramble. You know, in the years that I've been following the Armac, and particularly Shadron, they really have never had that great big bruising running back. They've all been the Danny Woodhead size, Aaron Cooksley.
How big was he?
Well, he's like 5'7", and he worked to the advantage because he hid behind those big linemen. But he holds every rushing record in the NCAA. I'm not just talking Division II, but Division I, Division III, every rushing record.
There's a good hard run by Ritson, and he's wrestled down nearing the 35-yard line. But you know, what a story, Danny Woodhead, all-time leading rusher in NCAA history and two-time Harlan Hill winner.
You know, we're talking about the Harlan Hill winner. The Armacs have 3 winners. You know, Danny won it twice, and we're going to be going up for our next game up at Mason State at Mines in a couple weeks. And 3 years ago, Mines had the Harlan Hill winner, a young man by the name of Furhoff, a fine quarterback who actually did play one play for the Denver Broncos in a training camp, went out and knelt on the ball the last game of preseason.
And this is Cooksley. Flags are thrown by no huge surprise. And we'll see what this is all about. Shadron taking the second half kickoff, and they have done a good job driving this ball down the field, and we'll see if they're going to be assessed a penalty here, and they will be.
Number 81, 10-yard penalty, second down.
Well, we're already at 8:51 in the third quarter, and you talk about a time-consuming drive. And when you're out in front 25-0, this is this perfect script that you want to follow from Coach O'Ball's perspective. Run time off the clock, and don't leave CSU Pueblo much time to operate. And this is sure working their advantage right now.
Well, we talked about last week some of the players. I mean, not many come out of Division II football to play professionally, and now another flag is thrown. False start again against the Eagles, but I guess another guy that came out of Shadron that had a pretty good NFL career, Don Beebe.
Yeah, Don Beebe was an outstanding receiver. Ended up playing for the Buffalo Bills. He, of course, he paid back Shadron for a lot of his success. You go up to the Shadron State campus, their football stadium, and he gave them a significant amount of money for them to build the Don Beebe press box in honor of Con Marshall, their outstanding SID.
Well, the penalty pushing the Eagles back into their own territory here, and McClain looking to throw. And the pass is caught, perfectly thrown, and that's going to be close to another Shadron first down inside the 35-yard line. That was John Toston with the catch, and he is just shy of a first down, going to bring a third down. As we take a look at the play again, that was thrown in traffic, and Toston able to pull it down. Toston out of Clearwater, Florida. Toston is one of 3 true freshmen playing for this Shadron team.
Well, again, success breeds success, Dan. They've had some winning seasons up there, and they're a popular attraction for recruits.
Big play here by the Pueblo defensive line. on 3rd down. Big stop made. That's Cedric Patterson, the redshirt junior linebacker out of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma.
They'll take that, but although Chadron State can still consider that a successful drive. I mean, it took 8 minutes off the clock and reestablished field position.
7 minutes left in the 3rd quarter, and back in punt formation. Is Kevin Berg. Fumbles the snap in midfield, able to pick it up, and will kick it out of bounds. Let's see where they mark this. Going to be a touchback. And let's see if it is or not. Where they mark the ball. Nope, going to mark it at the 14-yard line. So a good kick by Kevin Berg, and we are halfway through the 3rd quarter, and it's all Chadron here in Pueblo. Get a look from field level at the CSU Pueblo offense setting up at their own 14-yard line. They've got some work to do here with 6:40 left in the 3rd. Gavin back to throw, and it's going to be broken up. Cartwright was the intended receiver. And breaking up that pass was Trevor Hyatt, the senior safety out of Lander, Wyoming.
Yeah, Sean Gavin's definitely got an uphill battle here. His team's down 25-0. I know Coach Riss said they're going to stay with their game plan, but let's face it, Chadron State defensive rushers are going to pin their ears back and get after the quarterback. Even on that one, he was able to get the ball off, but he got hit as soon as he threw it. The young man's going to be awful sore by the end of the game.
Threw it into double coverage, too. He's lucky he didn't have it picked off.
Now they put Bailey in here, number 21. They're going to run their speed offense here.
And a handoff. Good for a few yards up to the 20-yard line. Brandon Gray with the scamper there.
A lot of similarities between what you saw in that play and what West Virginia tried to run on the University of Colorado the other night with White. It's a kind of an off-tackle option play. Bailey can keep it or hand the ball off. Now they're going to go back to Gavin's with their passing offense.
And Brock Beasley, he's been in for a few snaps today. And again, he's listed as a cornerback, 5'10", 170 pounds, out of Aurora, Colorado. Total offense today for Chadron, 404 yards, 185 for CSU Pueblo, and that pass is nearly picked off. Brandon Gray was the intended receiver.
A little bit out of sync. Gavin's really started the ball well, had several completions early, and now he's gone a little bit out of sync here and lost his rhythm.
Well, not to say that it would have changed the complexion of the game, but again, when they were down 7-0, they drove the ball down here, looked like they might score. At least should have had 3 points on a field goal. They missed that, and it's been all Chadron ever since.
Right.
Kick is away. Lee Meisner punting it for the Thunderwolves, and that ball is just going to be down at the 38-yard line of Chadron, where the Eagles will take over on offense.
Well, and I think the key playing the game so far is the first quarter when Gavin went back to pass, and of course CSU Pueblo thought it was an incomplete pass, and they ruled it as a fumble, and Chadron State got in excellent field position, went in and scored. You know, you'd like to, and at that, up to that point, CSU Pueblo had been moving the ball quite well. But, you know, that's the mark of a champion in Chadron State's case. You can't give them any, you know, you can't make any mistakes. You've got to go out and play a perfect game if you're going to have a chance to beat them.
Well, you look at it, I mean, we talk about all the freshmen, and timeout has been called here. We'll get back to that point when we return, as we have just over 5 minutes left in the third quarter, and the Eagles have the ball at their own 38-yard line. Chadron setting up on offense with just over 5 minutes left in the third at their own 37.5-yard line. McLean under center. He's had a huge day. And he's going to look to throw here, rolling right. Good protection, and he's going to throw it out of bounds. Well, we talked about John Ritz, and you talked about his dad, Scott, Jeff, and boy, would he be proud today, because John has a grand total of 148 yards of offense today, 80 yards running the ball, including a touchdown. 3 receptions for 68 yards and a touchdown for John Ritson.
Yeah, he's having an outstanding day. And, of course, I bet if you talk to John, he would compliment his offensive line. And you can certainly see the domination in the line of scrimmage by Chadron State.
And here's Joe McClain.
I think he's got about as many yards as CSU Pueblo has total offense.
That's right. Handoff straight up the middle. That is Ritson again, adding to his huge day. Well, you talk about all the freshmen that have come out for the CSU Pueblo team here, and returning starters for the two-time defending champion Chadron State. They have 7 returning starters on offense, 9 on defense. So that's a pretty good amount, and a good experience.
And we're talking about a team that went deep into the playoffs. They lost the last 2 years. They've lost to Northwest Missouri State University in the quarterfinals, and Northwest made it to the national championship game to lose in the title game. But
here's McClain rolling left, going to tuck it in, and he's going to get a yard or so up near the 40-yard line. Cedric Patterson in on the stop there.
That was a nice play by Patterson. Keep McClain from getting outside.
So the punting unit comes on. We haven't seen very much of them for Chadron. Kevin Berg is back in punt formation at his own 25-yard line. And setting up at his own 20-yard line, ready to receive the kick. Kick is off. That's Marcus Turner, who's going to let it bounce, and a good roll for Chadron. And the ball's going to die right around the 12-yard line. And that's where the Thunderwolves will take over on offense. Down 25-0 now. Jeff, you were down in the field when Chadron went for 2 on that fake extra point try. That was a 50-yard punt, by the way, for Kevin Berg. And they decided to throw it, and they got the 2-point conversion. What are your thoughts?
Well, I was talking with the assistant athletic director from CSU Pueblo, Jeremy Capo, at the time, and we talked about it. Was that an idea to get 25 and therefore make it 4 scores in order for CSU Pueblo to tie, or was that rubbing their face in and saying, "Listen, we're king of the hill, and we're here to show you just how good we are"?
Yeah, when you're up by that many points, I'm not so sure you're thinking about how many scores you're up in the first half.
That's what I told Jeremy. There's Beasley.
Yeah, he's showing his speed, and he's bumped out of bounds. A first down for Beasley.
I talked to Coach Riston at halftime about using Beasley here in the running back position in place of Gavin. And he says that was really based on the fact that they did lose Bobby Washington, and they felt they had to give another wrinkle for Chadron to concern themselves with that. And you can see that Beasley is a very, very talented athlete. And they probably simplified the offense. They haven't given him too many things to worry about to allow on his athleticism.
Oh, a first down for the Thunderwolves. And the handoff is going to gain very little. Brandon Gray and a Burdett, Kansas with the carry. 9 first downs now for CSU Pueblo compared to 18 for Chadron. I mean, it's just been about as lopsided of a game as you can imagine here.
Well, again, you can just see the domination of the line of scrimmage at the point of attack.
And you look at the penalties for Chadron. They lead in that category as well, unfortunately, for head coach Bill O'Boyle. But if not for the penalties, how bad would it be right now?
Well, I definitely think he'll be concerned with the amount of yellow flags he's seen thrown down his team.
Well, this is Beasley again, changing direction. Boy, he's showing good athletic ability, but what a hit there. He is leveled out over the 40-yard line. Gets another first down, but he paid for it. That was a huge hit there, as we'll take a look at it again.
Number 1.
So a first down. have number 18 listed on our roster here. So Gavin throws it, and the pass is picked off. What a catch. Picked off by the Eagles, Jared Coaster, the Talmas Ewell, rather, the cornerback with the interception.
He made a nice play on the ball, was able to undercut the route, made a nice catch.
Timeout here at the Nita and Eddie DeRose Thunder Bowl. Back with more here in the third quarter right after this. 25-0 Eagles lead, and they've got the ball and a big gain here on first down. It is Mark Haig, a junior tailback, carrying the ball for the Eagles. He's out of Indianola, Nebraska. And the Eagles with another big play there.
Well, that's kind of a shocker, isn't it? I thought as tough as Adams played Chadron last week at home that they would give Kearney a better game. The final 37-0.
Kearney looked good last week in Gunnison.
And I believe our CSU Pueblo Thunderwolves are headed up there this next week.
Screen. Big gain here. Ball is inside the 20-yard line.
And then Adams has New Mexico Highlands coming into Alamosa.
That was Tyler Watson, I believe, on the reception there. And Shadron's going with a new quarterback here. We'll check it out for you. And that's Garrett Truffer, a sophomore out of Scotts Bluff, Nebraska. And we've got another flag.
Looks like a false start. You have a new quarterback comes in, even though they may try to keep their cadence exactly the same, there's always just a few minute differences between the two.
Well, the numbers for Joe McLean were outstanding today, but he's going to take the rest of this one off. We have just 50 seconds remaining here in the third quarter, and it's all Chadron. Well, and CSU Pueblo had a chance at the end of the first half to maybe get some points on the board. They tried to throw it into the end zone and get 6. They ended up getting nothing. You think they should have gone for some points there, or what?
Well, it's too bad they didn't have the the NFL pass interference rule where they'd have got the ball inside the 2.
Inside give, nothing there. That was Mark Haig on the carry, gain of 1.
We're rapidly approaching the end of the third quarter here.
Well, they're keeping the ball on the ground, as you would expect, with that big lead and chewing up a lot of clock here. Well, a lot of the fans have decided to leave and maybe head out, enjoy the rest of the Saturday afternoon, which has been a beautiful day, and that's going to be the final play of this third quarter, with Chadron in total control of this game, leading 25-0. Back with the fourth quarter from the Nita and Eddie DeRose Thunder Bowl right after these messages. Back here for the fourth quarter, and a 3rd down and 6 for CSU Pueblo, or for Chadron, I beg your pardon. Their new quarterback, Garrett Truffer, in the game, and he's looking to throw here, has some time, and he's going to almost connect, but that pass is broken up. Big hit, Jerome Page, and he's had a pretty good day on the defensive side for CSU Pueblo. And another penalty, I'm afraid. What a hit that was.
Haig had blocked back to get the quarterback outside and got called with an illegal block below the waist. That was a great hit by Page. I tell you what, he's dishing it out today.
Yes, he is.
He's a tough kid. At Gateway High School there in Aurora.
So the ball is marked back at the 39-yard line. And the penalties have just been ubiquitous today for head coach Bill O'Boyle. Can't get away from those things. But his team is up 25-0. That
Yeah, it
kind of eases the pain a little bit.
Exactly, eases the pain a ton.
But if you're playing a team that obviously has more experience than CSU Pueblo, that can really hurt you.
Yeah, it will. It could come back to haunt them as they get further into the conference schedule.
Here's Truffer. He's going to dump it off. Pass is caught by Stockton. And he's going to be shoved out of bounds at around the 29-yard line. That was Jerry McWilliams, linebacker out of Fountain, Colorado, with the hit. It's a little crossing pattern there. So a 4th down now for the Eagles here. And they're going to try and put 3 more on the board. This is marked at the 35-yard line, a 45-yard attempt for Travis Adder. It's 3 for 3 last week. And he will have it long enough, but it's going to hook to the left and no good.
Had a little wind coming out of the east. It may have caused that ball to hook left. Does that look like your golf shot there?
No, I have a terrible slice. I need to put a little bit more hook on it so I can straighten it out. I'm not sure how that works. But anyway, so that's a positive development there for CSU Pueblo. A missed field goal attempt by Travis Adder. He pushed it to the left, and it's still 25-0 with 14:39 left to play here in Pueblo. 14:39 left to play in this one. And CSU Pueblo sets up an offense. Snap to Beasley, going to take it himself. And he's out over the 30-yard line to about the 33.
Nothing fancy about that. Direct snap to Beasley and allowing him to use his athleticism and try to find and run the daylight.
Well, you wonder how long Bobby Washington's going to be out.
Penalties.
15 penalties for Shadron, and Pueblo with 6.
That's probably one stat that Coach Boyle would not like to be ahead in. Got another quarterback in here now. 7.
And he's throwing into traffic. That's Joe Vigil. He's only 5'8", 168 pounds, a redshirt freshman out of Denver and Littleton High School. Unable to connect there on 1st down. On the 2nd down, or the 3rd down here.
Definitely keeping the statisticians on their toes today by alternating so many personnel in there at that quarterback spot. Beasley's back in.
From the shotgun formation. 3rd down and 6. And he's going to keep it himself, and he's in trouble. And he's going to be shy of the 1st down, hammered down.
I don't know. Are you at the point in the game where you start going for it now in your territory from 4th down? It looks like they are here. They're not sending the punt unit in.
Austin Bailey came in to make the hit there. Inside linebacker out of Red Wing, Minnesota.
Again, this is a testament of Coach Riston playing the game to win. Realizes that it's getting late in the game. He's got to try to make something happen. If he fails to make the 1st down, though, he's going to give Shadron State outstanding field position.
There's Vigil. Fakes the give, rolling right, throwing, got a man, caught, nice play, out over midfield. That is Kobe Wittick with the catch. Wittick, a freshman tight end out of Golden.
What a great call. You got to love that. Good deal outside on a run pass option, and the kid actually caught it twice. He hit it, caught it, and he caught it on the second go there.
That's great concentration there.
Nice play.
In traffic.
Take that.
Go from a quarterback, Sean Gavin, who is 6'5", to Vigil, who's 5'8", and this is Beasley.
Now they got something working here.
Well, it's baby steps, I guess, for our new program. And if you can get something on the board, especially a touchdown, you'd feel mighty better about yourself than you do right now.
Well, no doubt. And irregardless of what the final outcome in this football game, I believe that Coach Wriston and the CSU Pueblo Thunderwolves, they can feel good about their performance today. They've gone toe-to-toe with the best team in the conference.
I'll give you an idea of how inexperienced this team is. Coach Wriston said his team needs to do a better job of protecting the quarterback and running the football. And the throw is going to be off the mark. But he said, our offensive line is a work in progress. I'm not sure they all know each other's names at this point. So that gives you an idea of how new these kids are.
Yeah, it's been unbelievable. And we've alluded to it previously, the challenge that the university had in bringing football back and resurrecting it. I came up and visited with Coach Wriston in December at lunch with him on some business, and during that hour and a half we were together, he must have had 15 cell phone calls.
A big disparity in total yards today.
Text messages, I mean, just a guy was just going 24/7. It's incredible.
Oh, no, this is all they need. And Beasley just going to fall on the ball on the bad snap back at his own 33-yard line.
Well, that's one of the disadvantages of the shotgun. Sometimes that ball gets a little slick in the center.
Don't even give your offense a chance when that happens.
No,
I mean, they had pretty good field position there.
Yeah. I don't know, what is this, 4th and 30?
We call it 4th and forever.
I think we can pretty well deduce that Coach Wriston's going to punt this one here.
Loss of 21 on that bad snap. And they're going to let it bounce here, and it takes, of course, a Shadron bounce, and is finally knocked out of bounds by the Thunderwolves, and Brandon Williams making the play. So nothing going right today for the home team. Shadron coming to town and taking it to the CSU Pueblo Thunderwolves, and we've got 11-16 remaining in this one. And you know, Shadron would love the shutout.
Obviously, they'd love to go home on that, get on that bus and go back to Shadron and have a goose egg. Coach Todd Hours, the defensive coordinator, he's been on the staff many years ago, going all the way back when Brad Smith was the head coach.
Trepper shovels it to his running back, going to be a gain of 2 or 3. That is Mark Haig, who's been taking a lot of the handoffs here in the second half.
You know, that's one of the things that Shadron has going for them, Dan, is they have some continuity in their staff. You know, Brad Smith came in 1987. He's really responsible for building the program to where it is today. He's one of the most successful coaches in all of not only Shadron, but the RMAC. And he turned over the ropes to the reins of the program to Coach O'Boyle 4 years ago, and the program has not gone backwards. Todd Auer was his defensive coordinator with Brad Smith, so they've got continuity going up there. They do a wonderful job. They bring in hundreds of kids for their summer camps. And Shadron's a really pretty place in Nebraska. There's not many places in Nebraska I think are very pretty, but up there around the Black Hills, it really is a nice
area. Was it northwest Nebraska?
Very extreme northwest, right up in that corner.
Now they've got the winningest program in the RMAC the past 10 years. They're 85-24. They've won 6 RMAC championships, including the last 2.
Exactly.
I mean, the accolades go on and on.
And that's why this is a great measuring stick for Coach Wriston in the program. And if they're ever going to be the best, they got to beat the best. And so this gives them an idea just exactly, you know, where their program stacks up with the class of the conference.
Well, they come in today, Jeff, tied with CSU Pueblo and a couple of other teams for first place, and they have Shadron has continuously occupied at least a share of first place every week since September of 2005, 27 straight weeks.
Yeah, that's very impressive.
Shovel pass there on 3rd down, and they've got a 1st down. Mark Haig took the pass from his quarterback, Garrett Trepper, and even the guys coming in for the first team are getting the job done for Shadron. This is, I mean, the stadium is absolutely gorgeous, and we're down on the field. They got that nice new turf. I think they call it field turf here. And that is state-of-the-art stuff. So they have not cut corners whatsoever here at this new facility.
Without a doubt, one of the finer facilities in all of Division II. They've raised the bar in the entire RMAC in Division II here at CSU Pueblo.
There's an inside give.
Now, we're not going to see University of Nebraska Kearney on television on the RMAC Game of the Week, but they've made some tremendous additions to their stadium up there in Kearney. They've got probably one of the finer facilities as well. Wonderful, wonderful press box. I believe a benefactor gave them $4 million to renovate their facility. So right now it's them and CSU Pueblo have got the finest facilities in the conference.
That was Evan Pilkington on the last carry out of Longmont, Colorado. Got a second down coming up here, second down and 5. Another handoff, but a nice play there. That was Pilkington again on the carry.
Great hit there by Patterson. Good defense.
So they lose a couple, 3rd and 8 here with 8:25 remaining left in this one. Over the middle, pass is caught, short of the first down. Jeff Alcorn out of Chadron makes the reception. There's another redshirt freshman. Steve Jordan helping out on the stop there. 25-0 Chadron.
And big Coach O'Boyle's
4th down here and short. Going to see if they can prolong this drive
and try to draw them off. Well, no, they're not. They're going for it.
And they've got the first down. The flags are thrown.
We got offside's going to be on CSU Pueblo. Coachman on the football.
Offside on the defense. Number 5, 5-yard penalty. First down.
Jerry McWilliams was called on the offsides penalty there. Pilkington on the carry. And the drive will continue for Chadron with 7:28 remaining. Going to be a tough team to beat here in 2008. And 3 receivers to the left.
Well, they were picked by the coaches to win the conference.
Well, that's not exactly going out on the limb with this ball club.
No, it isn't. And of course, we can't crown them champions yet. They've got a long schedule ahead. They've got there's always a little bit of luck involved, you know, staying injury-free, etc.
That was John Toston, the freshman wide receiver on the catch, and he takes himself out of the game, getting up limping just a bit as we take a look at it again here. I guess the thing you look for with a game like this, Coach, is how your players are going after it. Are they still playing hard? And
exactly. You know, and the key game is next week. Chadron hosts Kearney, and that's always a bitter rival up there in Nebraska.
Pitch back to Evan Pilkington with the carry out of Longmont, Colorado. Getting a lot of the work here in the final minutes of this game. 6:14 remaining.
Yeah, that game up there with Kearney and Chadron next week could impact heavily on the eventual champion. Chadron does have to go to Mesa State later in the season. That could be a key game. Mesa's off to a good start.
And this is Pilkington again. Pushed out of bounds. Well, here's your 6 points of separation for the day, Coach. The last CSU Pueblo head coach, Gary Richardson, who you probably know pretty well, huh?
Sure.
Who then coached University of Southern Colorado. That's what it was known back then. And the program's last season, we talked about their last defeat.
Right.
Right, against your team. That was 1984. Well, he jumped ship from Chadron State to take the job here at the University of Southern Colorado. And that was the worst season in school history when they finished at 2-8. And here we go. And that one is taken inside the 10-yard line by Jeff Alcorn.
Well, and then not only does Gary, and Gary's a good friend of mine. We coached against each other back in the old high school days when he was at Montrose and I was at Grand Junction. And then he is here at CSU Pueblo at Southern Colorado at the time, and then they ended up dropping the program that next January. And so, not a good time for football in the around the greater Pueblo metropolitan area, and but now it's back.
Well, 24-year hiatus, and that's a long time to go without football. And you come back and you go 2-0 to begin the season. Here's a handoff straight up the middle. Chadron trying to put 6 more on the board, but falling a little bit short is Brett Gum. Steve Jordan on the stop. A couple of 33s teaming up there on the play, and 4:50 left to play in this game, and the ball resting at the 2-yard line. 2nd and goal for Chadron here, trying to put some more points on the board. Already up 25-0. Crawford under center. Hands it off. Big hole. Oh, that was quite a run by Gum. Brett Gum out of Burwell, Nebraska. Head-to-head hit there.
Get up, kid. There you go. That's a good job.
On the other end of that hit was Marco Lusso.
That was a heck of a hit. I was worried there for a bit when that young man didn't get up quickly.
Helmet to helmet. And Marco Lusso took the brunt of the blow there from Brett Gum, who goes in for the touchdown as we take another look at the play. Big hole, but he just went right after Macaluso and knocked him on his keister.
Welcome to college football.
Extra point try is good, so 7 more points on the board.
Get the number of that truck here. Well,
Yes,
is it time for
sirree.
my song? Put out the lights. The party's over.
I think you're about 10 minutes late on that one. 32.
They say that all good things must end.
What more can I say? 4:26 remaining in Pueblo. Chadron up 32-0. And we'll see if the Thunderwolves can at least put something on the board before this one is over. At least as far as the time being expired. We've already heard from Jeff. He sang a song, so the party is over.
You know, if people would, I'm aging myself, because if you don't go back to the days of Howard Cosell and Danny Don, Meredith, how did he even know what the heck I'm talking about when I sing that song? On Monday Night Football.
There's a lot of people out there that have no idea
I know they're
what you're talking about.
You think that guy, you think you
And
got a
what's he
voice to
singing?
sing?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's the kickoff. Nails it pretty good, taking it around the 3-yard line.
Look out.
Got a seam here. Out near the 40-yard line is Marcus Turner. Well, they've had some opportunities today, that's for sure, but they just have been unable to convert. A 37-yard return for Marcus Turner. 23 first downs for Chadron today compared to 11 for CSU Pueblo. And they'll set up at their own 40-yard line. We'll see Marcus Turner again bringing back that kick. Turner out of Peoria, Arizona, and Glendale Community College. He's a junior wide receiver, one of the few upperclassmen on this CSU Pueblo team. There's Beasley, and he's taken down in the backfield.
Well, the road doesn't get any easier for Colorado State. They go up to the School of Mines next week, and School of Mines beat Port Louis today 30-9. And so they'll have that work cut out for them up there.
Second down and 13. And the give is going to gain nothing. In fact, it's negative yardage once again for CSU Pueblo. And the quarterback is Joe Vigil right now. They continue to work on Macaluso on the sidelines after that hit.
Looks to me like they're treating him as a pinched nerve when they're trying to feel if there's strength in that arm. It looks like he may have had a burn.
What an explosion by Brett Gum on that run, huh?
I think he was definitely not the hammer. I think he was the nail on that one.
I mean, Gum had one thing in mind. He had the end zone, and he wasn't going to let anything stop him. Vigil scrambling out of pressure, throws it, and the pass is caught. That's a first down.
The CSU Pueblo, they're on the road at Mines, and they come home on October 4th, Dan, and they have University of Nebraska Kearney here at home on October 4th. Then they go to Mesa State. So the schedule doesn't get any easier for them by any means.
John Cartwright on that last reception, first down for CSU Pueblo, 2:45 remaining in the game. CSU Pueblo operating at the 47-yard line of Chadron is facing 4th down and 10 here with a minute 48 left.
I don't know how many 4th and 10 plays you have in your play call list, but
if anybody would know, it's you.
You hope you don't have. You hope you don't have many,
or you have to use them. Vigil is going to be sacked, and that puts the exclamation mark on the day. Corey Baran with the sack, sophomore defensive end out of Sargent, Nebraska, and that will do it. A shutout for Chadron today. With 1:42 left to play, Chadron takes over on offense at the 44-yard line. And a timeout on the field. A long day today for the Thunderwolves. And really, if not for all the penalties by Chadron, it could have been much, much worse. But again, as Jeff has mentioned throughout the telecast, it's a learning process. This is a very young team, as you would expect, a first-year program for CSU Pueblo. And they are going to the school of hard knocks here today. But great crowd on hand for this one today, many of whom have already left. Capacity here right around 10,000. Haven't received any count on what we had here today, but I can tell you the bleachers and the seats were pretty much filled up. They've got a nice grassy berm area on the north end of the field, which a few fans have decided to take in the game over there, but right now so many of the folks have left after a romp by the visitors. Chadron comes out on offense, and they're just going to take a couple of knees here with 1:42 left in the game and call it an afternoon. Garrett Trepper and our going to be the second. A knee once again, and that will do it here in Pueblo. 13, 12, 11, 10 seconds remaining. And that's it here at the Mita and Eddie DeRose Thunder Bowl. All Chadron in this one as the teams meet at midfield. 32-0 the final score today. Now Jeff's going to be talking with the winning coach when we come back here in Southern Colorado. Welcome back to Pueblo. All Chadron today, 32-0 over the Thunderwolves. And a good crowd on hand for this one, many of whom left the game. But again, a very young program here in Pueblo. And they have a tremendous new facility that they showed off today here for the RMAC football game of the week. And again, 2 weeks from today, we'll be with you once again, this time from Golden, Colorado, a noon kickoff, Mesa State at Colorado Mines. as CSU Pueblo makes their way back to the locker room to try and figure out what went awry today. Only thing that really went wrong for Chadron was the fact that they racked up so many penalties today, and I'm sure that's something that head coach Bill O'Boyle is going to address during the week with his team, because when he faces a team that is more experienced than this one, and that's about every other team in the league, then those penalties are really going to be an issue. Jeff Geiser getting ready to talk it over with the winning head coach. The Eagles improved to 2-0 and 3-1 overall, while CSU Pueblo is now at 1-1 in the conference and 2-1 overall, losing their first game of the year. Let's check out some of the highlights on the day. Here's the fumble by Sean Gavin, the quarterback, and that's a play that really helped turn this game around. As the Eagles bringing it back, Corey Baran with the fumble recovery down to the 6-yard line. And the Eagles were on their way as quarterback Joe McClain to John Ritson, one of his touchdowns on the day. Ritson had a big day running the ball and receiving the ball. And now McClain took this one himself on a bad snap, and he was off to the races. Finally brought down from behind. And now the touchdown, McClain hands it off to Aaron Cooksley. Shakes a couple of defenders and runs it in for another score. Chadron at this point was rolling right along. And again, the only thing that really interrupted the Eagles today was penalties. Field goal there by Travis Adder. That made it a 17-0 game, and now a touchdown scamper by John Ritson. Beg your pardon, the run that set him up for the touchdown, and now McClain throws it into the end zone and gets 6, connecting with Brandon Harrington for the score. And with the team up 23-0, instead of going for just the 1 point, they get the 2 on the fake extra point try, and it was Isaac Stockton with the catch for the 2-point conversion, which put them up 25-0. And here's Brandon Gray for CSU Pueblo with one of their more positive plays on the day. Large gain there. Didn't result in anything, though, and here come the Eagles, and the final score was Brett Gum bowling over one of the Thunderwolves there, and 32-0 the final. That was quite a blow for Brett Gum to knock it into the end zone, and the Eagles cruise to victory. Well, my broadcast partner Jeff Geiser is standing by downstairs with the victorious head coach of Chadron State, Bill O'Boyle.
Well, Coach O'Boyle, how's it feel to be 2-0 in RMAC, 2 successful road wins here back-to-back?
It's great. You know, it's great to be 2-0 in the conference, and looking forward to next week.
How would you assess your team's performance overall today?
Defense, we played a lot better. You know, I think Coach Hour's pretty happy. They gave up a couple big plays, but, you know, that's going to happen. I think offensively we made way too many mistakes. You know, we're going to go back and look at the film. We had way too many holding penalties, a lot of motion penalties. It took us out a few drives in the third quarter. So, you know, things you can fix. But, you know, again, I'm not real happy with the performance right now. We've yet to put a game together as far as offense, defense, and special teams. And, you know, we've got to look at each other and get it done.
Now you can focus on next week's game against your bitter rival up there in Nebraska, against the University of Nebraska Kearney. You got the Lopers coming into your home field there. Can you want to talk about what that game means to you next week?
Well, you'd like to say it's just another game. You know how that is. I think it's in the back of our kids' minds throughout the whole year. You know, Kearney's a big rival, but again, it's the same way with any other team in the RMAC anymore. I think we have to look at Mesa like that. We have to look at Mines. You know, there's a lot of good teams in the RMAC anymore. And again, Colorado Pueblo is going to be very good, and he's doing a great job down here. So, you know, all the teams, anybody can beat you any weekend. So we've got to get ready for everybody.
What's your impression of what they've done here in Pueblo with CSU? Pueblo coming in as a visiting coach to the facilities. Just your impressions, Coach.
To be honest with you, it makes me sick. You know, I've been in the league a long time, and you know, this place is beautiful. You know, we're jealous, of course. I think every coach in the league that comes into this venue will be just shaking his head how nice this place is and what they're doing down here, and that's the way it should be. You know, I'm hoping we get on track sometime. You know, everybody's making improvements, and this is one of the best.
Well, as I've already talked to you before, I think you're a victim of your own success. As long as you keep winning, you know, your administration up there is shouting, say, why do you need any new facilities, Coach? Look how good you guys are.
I'm not even going to say anything. Coach, you did it for me on that one, so I'm not saying anything.
Well, listen, best of luck to you.
All right.
All right.
All right, thanks, buddy.
Great. Okay, back up to you, Dan.
Jeff, nice job down there. Way to put him on the spot. Bill O'Boyle, our guest, the